Okay, folks, once again, see if we can find a place for this to go. Got all my drinks here, none of them alcoholic. We don't need any alcoholic drinks unless we're gonna be like, hey, let's watch Tony fall asleep. And we're gonna need this. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's move these completed things. So we've got I don't even remember the last vehicle I completed. It's like a skate. I've already moved on to something else. Oh yeah, the truck. Yeah, the truck. So, speaking of trucks, we have another truck here. And we have this, I've kind of struggled with naming this thing for a while. Only because I didn't really get to pick the name of it. I didn't get to pick the name from scratch, let's put it that way. It's got this big Fandango written on the side of it. I know it's reversed, there's nothing I can do about that. Other than not run it through YouTube. I have to run it through something else. So we got to use Fandango in the name. So this is going to be the FIREBOMB Fandango. And this is going to be a vehicle with there's going to be some Molotov cocktails. Or, flaming tequila shots or something. Let's get the rule book out here. And this is going to be a truck. Molotov cocktails, yep. Let's go all the way to the back. Now I have another Molotov cocktail throwing vehicle called the Flaming Tosser. And the Flaming Tosser does not have a ram, so I'm probably going to put a ram on this thing, just to make them different from each other. Okay, so this is going to be a truck that is cost $15. Okay, so let's flip off. Don't be sliding on me. Okay. We're going to have a FIREBOMB Fandango. Okay, it's a truck. It's 15 points. And it's 3 build slots. And it has 3 crew. That makes sense. 1 driving, 1 here in the passenger, and 1 guy out the back just tossing things. Right? Even though you have 360-degree aim points for that. Okay, the tossing stuff does not cost very much. It only costs a point each. So we're going to have some Molotov cocktails, no doubt about it. Molotov cocktails cost 1 point. No build slots. Let's set this aside here. Let's go look through the weapons. I don't want to put a flamethrower on it. We just built a vehicle with a flamethrower on it. I don't think that they're very useful. And this is mainly a tossing vehicle. So maybe we'll have 2 groups of Molotov cocktails. That's like 10 of them. All right, so let's move this off to the side. I need to pick up this area a little bit. Let's get all my weathering colors here. If you don't do that, you end up working in like a tiny little corner of your desk. White paint's over here. Gloss varnish, okay. The super glues can go down here. And the metal paint's up here. All right. Now we've cleared enough of this stuff. Basically everything we used on the last build. So this is what this is. This is a Hot Wheels It just says Fandango 2001, made in Malaysia. It has the Fandango graphics already on it, and it is a Durango. It is a Dodge Durango, probably the first series of Durangos. Came out in the, I want to say, the late 90s. I don't know if they still make the Durangos. Some of these Dodge cars seem to come and go like all the time. They'll come in and they'll make something like hey, we're going to make a new Dart. And then like 2 years later, they don't make it anymore, you know? So they're real scaredy cat about that. All right. So if we're going to put a RAM on this thing, I don't want one that has a lot of personality. In other words, I don't want one that has like razor blades or something like that on it. I want one that's just kind of generic. So let's look in here and see what's available that isn't loud and obnoxious. Okay. This isn't bad. It is a RAM, and you can still see the headlamps underneath it. That's not bad, and it's like the right shape. What do we have here? This one's curved a little bit. That's not bad either. That's not bad either. Some of these have like gears. I don't want to use that. I don't want these rolling things just yet for this one. Or real spiky bits. So right now, these two are the ones to beat. These are from Creepy Hero Studios. And this looks pretty loud. I have painted it brown, yeah. It has a brown wash on it. The front and back windows don't. We're probably going to block those out. We're going to put some styrene on there and make them look all armored and shit. Make them look like they mean business. I mean, this logo on the side's a little goofy. Like, yeah, whatever. You're just screwing around, whatever. We do have a Hot Wheels logo on this side, not on this one. So I may put some armor on here to cover that up, or not. It doesn't bother me that much, you know. But we're trying to replicate something that's like a big vehicle, a real vehicle, and a real one wouldn't say Hot Wheels on it, you know. All right, this is more spiky bits, and let's take a look at that. I don't know what you're saying, man. I can't speak Cyrillic. I can't read it either. Actually, I'd probably say that I know how to speak it better than reading it. No, that doesn't have the right shape. This isn't bad. A bit cowcatcherish. This is almost for a small car. Okay. So between these two, I don't mind that. I don't mind this one either. I'm gonna go with this one because it looks more like a RAM than this one does. This almost looks like it could be on here and not really qualify as a RAM, just kind of almost like an enhancement. All right, so we got our RAM. That's going to use one build slot. So we're going to put a RAM on here. It's going to cost 4 points, and it's going to use one build slot. That leaves us 2 build slots for 2 weapons. Okay. I don't know what you're writing there, comrade. I'm sorry, I don't. No understando. Huge freaking shotgun looking. That looks a lot deadlier than it is. We're gonna keep stuff off that. Pair of double AKs. I don't know how you go about reloading it. It looks really, unfinished at this point, but we've got lots of stuff to add to it. I don't want to do a chain gun on it. No mortar. Man, I got lots of these AKs. That'd be 2 MGs. MGs are 2 or 3 points. I think they're 2 points. That would be 8, 12, 13. Let's see. If I add two MGs, it's 2 points. So that's 4. 8, 9, and we're at 24. That leaves 3 points for a perk or more Molotov cocktails. That's what we're going to do. Okay? Add a pair of AKs up there. And I may put these little barrels that look like jerry cans glued to the back here. Just to give it something. Just to give it something. Actually, I could use those and put them on the side here and cover up that Hot Wheels sign. That wouldn't be bad. And that's their fuel source for like throwing the Molotov. I like that better than the back. The back makes it look like it's got an explosive ram on there. Let's do that. We're going to do that, the ram, and the AK. And obviously we're going to add plates made out of sheet styrene. Viking Jerome, you're a longtime diecast collector. Nice work. Yeah, I'm not collecting them. We're really destroying them. Well, I don't know. We're enhancing them. So we're enjoying all the little particulars that all these diecast vehicles have. So there's somebody on the internet that posted in one of the groups, one of the Gaslands groups that I was a member of. And by the way, this thing's been sitting in the sidelines. I'm going to make this one of the Mexican lowrider groups. This is going to be an Escorpion. The Scorpion. It's got Scorpion logo on it. I didn't know the Scorpion was like an enemy of Spider-Man, but we're going to turn this into one of the Mexican guys. Volkswagens are really big in Mexico, or used to be. So this looks like a Carmen Ghia. So with a lot of ass on it. So Carmen Ghia, even though the engine's up front, I don't know. Carmen Ghias will have the engine in the back. All the Volkswagens. So That's going to be. So I'm really low on the lowriders. I don't have that many. So we're going to add this thing on here as well. And yeah, we got the we got like 3 of them that we've done in like shit a day. You know, so we're knocking these things out. And yeah, so anyways, I was saying on one of the groups, one of the guys was saying, like, you know, if you find like a collector's Hot Wheels, you modify it. Well, see, here's the thing. If I find something that is used and it happens to be a collector's Hot Wheel, I won't know. Okay, because I'm just going to, if I like it, I'm going to paint it. If I pay $1 for it, you know, I'm going to invest a couple hours into it and make it look cool. By the way, for those of you guys that have followed the show where I made the stuff out of hot glue, the oil slicks, I took one of them and painted glossy stuff on it. Let's get one of these. Let's get both of these guys out here, and let's put this on the mouse pad that makes it look like it's asphalt. All right. Have some lights here. Okay, so here is one of the lowriders. This is the Velvet Vato. Vato just means dude. And this is the hot glue gun oil slick that we made the other day and painted it black. Well, now I got the gloss, and now we put gloss in it. So now we got a glossy oil slick. I think that looks pretty freaking awesome. You know? And then this one is the Crimson Cuervo. Cuervo meaning crow, for those of you that do not know. Anyhow, these guys are done, along with the truck. But now we're going to do the FIREBOMB Fandango. And the FIREBOMB Fandango is this guy right here. And it is a Dodge Durango, probably a early 2000s, late 90s. I think the Durango started coming around like 98, something like that. And yeah, we put it together. This is the color windshield that it came with. This ridiculous orange thing. We're going to try to tint that some, but it might just be easier just to cover over it and be done with it. Only has a single peg in the bottom, so we're going to fill that thing up with a hot glue gun. And well, why did you tear it apart? I said, well, because I like painting the interior at least black or something where it's not really that noticeable, not some chrome or white or, you know. I think this one actually had a purple interior. So we're going to seal this thing up and then start getting to work on painting the bits. I'm going to get these guys flushed out and then we'll probably start hitting the rednecks. Or whatever we're going to call them. Everybody knows. Well, rednecks. Oh, I know what those guys are. So we'll get this fired up and we're going to have to prime these 3 items. So just like we did this morning, we're going to prime. Now, you're a Hot Wheels collector. Does that mean you just buy them and keep them in the packaging, or do you take them out and display them, or do you do any kind of modifications to them? Or I don't understand just collecting things and not taking them out of the package. I don't understand that. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's your hobby. It's what brings you joy, you know, but I don't understand buying things and not doing anything with it. Like buying a gun, never going and shooting it. Buying a car, don't drive it. You know, don't drive that car. Well, why'd you get the car then? You know, I ordered this plate of food, but I'm not going to eat it. Why? It'll go bad. What? I mean, I've only been doing the car stuff for a couple months, and I freaking love it. I mean, we've been doing other stuff, but the car stuff it's only cars you can afford these days. These dollar ones. But this was bought, there's this place in the next town over about 30 miles away called Vintage Toy King. And they have all kinds of stuff, just like literally a grab bag. He's got thousands of them. And, I picked some out, and this was one of the ones that I picked out. So we're just going to seal that up. Normally I would use epoxy if I did not have a hot glue gun. The hot glue gun is a lot. Did we unplug the wrong thing? I bet we did. We did. I don't want to unplug the phone charger. What does that go to? Actually, now that I think about it. So yeah, he's got a bin of things, and I'll shoot a video when we go next time I go in there, and he just has them like in this big. They're all like in these little like bags, so that if you're mixing them up, they're not getting dinged up that badly. Like this was mixing up with a bunch of other stuff, but there's no dings or anything on this. All right, so let's prime these. And while this is being primed, we'll start working on these plates that are going to make this thing look apocalyptic, right? That's a good way to call these things, apocalyptic. I'm not telling you what caused the apocalypse, but one definitely happened. There was a breakdown of society. I don't know whether it was Walking Dead style or, something. I'm going to take this brush and we're going to go ahead and prime the back of these. And hopefully we'll have this guy done tonight. That means tomorrow morning we can work on one of the other ones. We've had an extremely productive weekend. And we still have tonight and tomorrow morning and the rest of the day tomorrow. So we should be able to, I'm not really in a hurry, but we got some cool stuff to work on. And I don't like to repaint them. Because if you repaint them, then these graphics aren't there. I mean, if I repaint this fajita truck, I'm not going to put fajita graphics on it. I mean, it's already on there. Somebody designed it with it. Let's make it look like it belongs on there. Let's weather it. I mean, obviously, we don't want it all bright and shit. And the only reason I'm doing the backside is sometimes some of this shows, so it's just easier to just knock that out first. It's all about hopping around because these things take time to dry. And that's with using acrylic stuff. If it was enamels, it'd take even longer to dry. All right, we got our three things that we're basically painting the backside of. Let's move this off to the side and let's grab a new, let's grab a couple of new things. Let's get a new blade. Let's move the rule book out of the way. I think I have a new one of these somewhere. Yep, there it is. go. I keep fooling myself with them, not thinking they're not here. Let's give this a shot before we switch this out. All right, this is just the top of a cottage cheese container. So we're going to cut the center of this out. And we're going to use this as our armor plate building material. This cuts real easy, and it's basically free. We'll save that. We may need that for something else. All right. So what we're going to do, have a sip of coffee. We'll put an armor plate here on the back. We'll put an armor plate here on the front. And I may or may not put one on the sides of the windows. I don't know yet. So this chair's a little low. All right, let's cut this into something that's a little bit more square friendly. We do have the super readers on. Okay, cool. All right, so let's do the front plate here. So I like to just wing it. It's hard to measure. It's hard to pre-measure these things when nothing really adheres to this. It's very, very slick. Has a lot of oil properties to it. Let's cut down the size of this a little bit. Yeah, he's just, okay. We can cut a little bit shorter. Nailed it. All right, perfect. Let's do the curvy bottom of it. So let's find a midpoint like this. And we're going to take from here and just cut a little bit off. Okay. And the same thing, just a little bit. Okay. Let's see how this fits in the curvature. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just needs to feel like it goes on. And that's pretty good. I can't really sand this because this is so soft plastic-like that it'll become furry. So you have to kind of slice it. Okay, that's better. All right, and we're going to go in a little bit from that corner. Again, if I screw this up, I'm basically using a free material. And do the same thing with this one. Okay. All right, now. Go straight across here. This is really distracting. It's nothing and it's dry, but it makes me think, is there wet paint on there? Nope. Not this time, pal. And that fits on there pretty well. I'm going to take the top of this down a little bit more. Something like that. Okay, I'm going to bend this a little bit. There's a little bit of a curvature on it. There's more precise ways to do this, but there's no point creating a ton of extra work for yourself. Now, I can tell this one's lined up here, this one's lined up here, this is all crick-crocked. And I couldn't tell that from my vantage point. Let's straighten that out. Might take a couple little cuts. Okay, and now we've got something that's basically the size of the window. All right, we're going to take the fast super glue, what I call standard super glue. And we're going to hold this down for just a little bit. All right, now we've blocked that out. All right, now comes the fun part. We'll put a strengthener on the armor plate here at the top. So we'll bend this also as well. You got to move quick on this and not get your damn finger in the way. Don't mind those sounds, just somebody breaking in the house. We'll get to them later. Let's rethink this and use the other super glue that we can adjust a little bit. Thought this would have been a little bit easier to. We're just going to pin it in a couple places. And the drying time on this green one, which I've only found Walmart that has it, is maybe a couple minutes. You have some adjustment time to do on it. A little trickier because it is on a curved surface, slightly curved. And then what we're going to do is we'll actually run some of the super thin across it to kind of hold it in place. Hold on one second. What's up, Ronald? Welcome back. Okay, now that we have it somewhat attached, now we'll come in with the other super glue that dries quick. I really don't like using super glue, but I normally would be using weld cement if the weld cement would work on this, but it doesn't. You're a little busy earlier. That's all right, man. You don't have to apologize. What are you doing while you listen to this stuff? You were doing chores or working on your own stuff? I used to listen to talk radio, but man, I don't care about politics or sports, so that's kind of a, it's kind of hard to find anything talk radio that isn't one of those two things. Now this has a little bit of a curvature here, so we'll see if we can use that to our advantage. Working on your late car. Like 1-to-1 scale, or are you doing this kind of stuff too? Okay, this is exactly where it needs to be. Even angle and everything on this side. So let's go in a little bit. Try to match that angle and see what happens. And I've tried to do a little bit shorter. Yeah, I did. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to try to match this angle here. More or less. Remember, these guys, this is made by a bunch of criminals in a shop. Had a good holiday. Well, it's not over yet for me. Uncle. I've been called worse. I have no uncles. I have no uncles and no aunts. So what's that like? I have this theory that the larger your family is, the more likely you'll have somebody in it you don't like. So Cristobal, Colombia. Welcome, man. Let's angle this a tiny bit. This just is a really hard surface to cut against. A piece of tile would work too, but I don't have one of those laying around. All right, let's cut a little bit off the top here. Okay, good. I cut it a little short on purpose. You can't. Once you do it, you gotta redo the whole damn thing. And there's a little smidge off. We need more than that. Another little smidge like that. Yeah, we need to glue those wheels so it's not getting out of control. We're going to make this thing look pretty cool. Right now it looks pretty loud and obnoxious. Now we need to go a little lower to get underneath that. Or just cut the bottom. Just put it there and take a little bit off the bottom. Let's do that. Following the same contour. 59 Mustang you had for a while trying to get the motor to run. 50. I didn't know they made a Mustang that was that old. I thought they were all from like 60. I didn't know there was a Mustang around before Kennedy got shot. I thought they were like 64, 65. But I'm not a Mustang expert. The first one of these cars I did was a Mustang. Well, although I didn't finish it because I didn't have any weapons at the time. Where's Tangtrum? It's a tuned out Mustang. It looks pretty cool. I'll finish it one of these days. But it's a tuned one. This is the very first one I did that I kept it the same color that it was and just weathered it, painted the windows. There's no interior on it, so you got to paint the windows. And it doesn't have any weapons or anything, but the back of it's painted. This obviously is not a 50-something, 68. So I guess this is a Boss. That's the best looking Mustangs, I think. Maybe you should do one with a motor to run. No, I don't think. My parents had an adult friend that had a workshop, at a mechanic shop. And when I was much younger, I helped him out. I mean, obviously, he had to teach me how to fucking do everything because I was like a underage kid that didn't know how to do nothing, right? But I did like, valve jobs and, change. I just did some basic stuff. I don't know that he had a lift, man, and a lift makes everything. I mean, I wish I had a lift. And I've done work on my car, but I haven't done anything major. Like I haven't done anything that there isn't a YouTube video for. So you can watch the YouTube video and go, I can handle that or I can't handle that. But I've taken the front of my car off probably 6 times. Changed out the horn, the fog lights. Didn't have any fog lights, installed those, I bought one horn that seemed like it was really cool, and I got it, and it was like some ching chang chung instructions that didn't match up. Like, put the red wire with the blue one and connect them, and you get the thing. And like, mine has a white one and an orange one. Like the colors didn't match. I'm like, we're not going to burn out a battery or cause an engine fire or anything like that, So, turn the automatic headlamps off. Hate that. I can't stand a car that has automatic lights. It drives me bananas. Like Big Brother to the max. It just gives you an excuse to just be dumb. Like be like like not have to think. We need people thinking more, not thinking less. So, there's not a button where you can just turn that off. Like I had to go in there and cut one of the things out and put it in a rubber bag and clamp it shut, and so it's empowering to do all that kind of stuff. But if you had a lift, oh man, it'd be so much easier. Did the floor pan, the frame. Need a haircut. I don't know about all that, but you got longer hair than I do. Bye-bye. Go cause trouble somewhere else. All right, let's see if I can get away with. Nah, let's do the one I have some time to work with. I don't like being rushed and. Man, I don't have my hair touching my ears. What do you want? You want me to go to like one of them gulag haircuts? A Yuri Petrushkin, child molester, 3rd class, I've never had long hair. Yeah, I wish I could have a lift. I wish it was like some community like car place that everybody could go, but people would just ruin it. Insurance, it'd have to be insurance, and they wouldn't be able to insure it and all that issues. Do the fronts on it. Man, I'll do them. I'm gonna knock them out of the park. Did you see the Ford Escort that I did? I love doing the lights. I really like doing that. And that's why I don't like taking these vehicles and turning them look like there's some apocalyptic tank. Because when you start turning it into, I don't want all my vehicles to look like this. right? Because then it's just like, okay, just spray paint everything black, do different colors of metal, do stains, and they all look like, you know, they belong in on the cover of a Judas Priest album. It's like not everything can look that way. You know, if you make everything look the same, then the ones that do look like this, it loses their the effect. Okay, now we got the front and the back. We got them covered. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create little armor plates and openings and stuff like that, so it looks real busy, like we did with this fire truck. This fire truck had open sides there, and we actually created these plates, and we created these portholes, so to speak, including on the front with a hatch and everything. All that's made with this plastic card. Now, the only bad thing about this plastic card is you have to use super glue or something like that to get it to glue. If you didn't, it'd be awesome. I mean, it'd be awesome if we could use like the Tamiya fast cement or whatever, but so be it, you know. You don't like to see an old car turn into a race car. So you don't like those roadsters, like those 30 roads, like this thing. This is a Fiat, supposedly. Where is this? What is this thing called? BG. Burnout Gunplay, that's right. There's a little BG written down here on the bottom of it, so I'm like, I gotta work that into the name. This is like a 30-something, this is like a Mussolini time period Italian Fiat that has been obviously enhanced. And it basically came with all this stuff on it except for this little rack on the top, the double AKs, and, you know, the weathering that looks like it's been, you know, on a race. But this little roadster type thing, like the Fords and stuff from the 30s and stuff like that, I don't really like how those vehicles look. They seem to be popular at car shows. I don't like making vehicles for this game that you can't tell what vehicle it is. I think it still needs to keep some of its originality. And I bet most people would probably disagree with me. I think most people would say, yeah, I want them to look all apocalyptic and more badass. And I'm like, I don't like to repaint them in the traditional sense because here's some cool graphics that I'm not going to go through all the trouble to repaint. So I might as well keep. I mean, some of them have some pretty intricate graphics. I mean, look at the stripes on this thing. Now, I wouldn't drive a vehicle like this. I mean, you know, but it's cool for a game when they're trying to destroy each other, you know. '59. I gotta look back. I didn't know Mustangs were that old. Well, learn something new every day. Let's see what we got. What the heck's a '59 Mustang look like? 1959 Mustang. Just looks like the same ones I'm used to. Okay. Yeah, some of the early ones, I don't really like the way they look. Yeah, I guess they look the same, similar to the ones from the '60s. Similar. I know they're all different, but yeah, that's back when American cars were better than anything foreign. The foreign stuff was just horrible. I'm a big fan of Japanese cars, but I wouldn't want a Japanese car from the '60s. It'd just be a piece of shit, you know. I was like, how much does it cost so I can show what I have? So we're going to, on the back here, we got to have some kind of a hatch, something like that, where the guy's going to throw maybe even 2 hatches. All right, that actually might not be bad. And then over here, we're going to have a vision slot over here, and then something that's a little bit larger. Maybe not as big as that one, but so we've got all these little pieces that we trimmed off, fortunately. Okay. And we're just going to take one of these and cut about that much off of it. Now let's get the tweezers. I love doing tweezer work. It's calming. And we're just going to take this little guy and put a little splooge of this here. This is the one that dries slow. So we can do something like this. Just put a drop on it, just hold it in place. And then we're going to cut another piece that's can use this one's kind of at an angle. We don't need to do that at an angle. Is there any car you wouldn't work on? Yeah, I'm in a situation where I don't want a new car because the new cars have all kinds of shit on them. I don't want them. I don't want that crash avoidance and Big Brother look ahead and all that bull crap. I don't want to be told what to do. Only technology I want on the car is I want it to have a third pedal. I want it to have air conditioning, Bluetooth. That's it. I think that's all. That's all we need. We don't need any other shit. I don't need satellite navigation. They got me. Like, I'll go places with a phone and stuff like that. But I'm really good at map shit. I'm better at map shit than anything else. So I will run stuff like Waze. That's basically to find out where the cops are hiding. So you don't go to try to pass somebody and the same time you pass someone, it's like, oh great, I was going the legal speed limit the whole time, and when I wanted to speed up to pass this guy, that's where the cop is. Shit like that. Just avoid problems. Okay, so we're going to put this other piece below it. Just one little dab here holding it. And that's just so you can work with this. Because this one's adjustable. You got a few minutes to work on it, not immediate glue and you're screwed. Right? Let's wipe that thing off. And then let's move this here and put it in place like so. Okay, so we've got a little flap there like that. Simple. Now, how do you keep these things from moving? Well, that's the other part. Okay, so we're going to grab a brush that we don't care about. And I should have set them off to the side, and I did, but they'll have the tip that's hardened. One's like this one's been put through the wringer. And we're going to use the thin super glue that I didn't have a use for it at all. And of course, too much of it comes off. It's out of control. It says ultra liquid control. It should be called ultra liquid. This is out of control. All right, and we're just going to run this across the top of this. And it's It's more watery than water. And we're going to do the same thing with this here. And just make sure it gets in that little gap. And then on the edges of this thing. But you need the slow one first to kind of allow you to position it a little bit. And I only started doing this for 2 days. As I like to say, I discovered it. I've been doing that for many years. I said, well, I didn't know about you doing it. Sorry. I did it for the first time 2 days ago. And I've been kicking ass with it. Super satisfying. All right. Now the passenger that sits over here, that person also needs a hatch. I don't want it to look the same because, you know, boring, right? So we're going to do something else. So we're going to have this one that's hinged in from the top. But in order to make it look a little bit different, we're going to round off these corners at the bottom. And we'll have it hinged from the top of this piece, but we will create something like that. I want it a little bit longer than this, a little bit wider. I'm going to go ahead and glue that in first. Now, I'm still going to use the one that's mobile that I can move around. I can adjust it. And do the same thing with the part underneath. There's one spot somewhere in the middle that you know it's going to be covered. It's almost like the consistency of honey. I've only seen them have it at Walmart. I'm sure they have it somewhere else. Probably have it on Amazon too. Okay, so now we've got 2 dissimilar hatches. Okay, it doesn't look like much right now, but I promise you it'll look pretty cool when we're done. Okay, and on this little hatch one, since it is the vision slot, is the vision block, I'm going to have this part I'm actually going to go ahead and paint. I'm going to paint that line on there. When it's time to paint things, we're just paint it. Put a dot here in the middle. And we go ahead and take care of that. These rolling wheels gotta stop. We'll just push the wheel out, squeeze some of that in there, move it this way, squeeze a little bit on the axle. You'd think, oh well, the way to get this thing from moving is when you take this thing apart. Oh, you're being a little dick. When you take this thing apart, you could just put some of the stuff in the axle. It doesn't work, or I had no luck with it. Not everything works as advertised. Not everything works as advertised. Sometimes people will make things look on the internet, hey, it's really easy, and you try it at home and then it works. And they want to argue with you, yeah, it works better. I said, well, I tried it, dude. You know, trust me, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes the wheel don't want to roll. So, same thing. Just going to put that little bit of that thin stuff. Okay, there's the front of that. We're going to want this window open so they can access these jerry cans. And I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to super glue it now. This side's flat. It should be flat. Bang. And that covers up some of that Hot Wheels logo that we didn't want to see anyways. And when the mud comes in here, we'll cover that up, and we don't have to go in there and try to. That's the other thing. Yeah, oh, yeah, you could just take things off with just using a dry erase marker. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that easy. Like, yeah, it looks good on the video. It's a pain in the ass. Okay. And I don't have a problem doing things that take a long time to do them, as long as you're constantly making forward progress. But when you're working on something and you do it, it doesn't work. You're like, all right, try it again. It doesn't work again. You try a third time, it don't work again. I'm like, I'm going to change tack. I'm going to go to somewhere else. You know, like if you have to beat your head into the wall, don't keep banging your head into the one that's the hardest. Like, go find a softer wall. So on this thing, I'm going to go ahead and put. I'm gonna make two little openings. I don't know why. I just want to. It'll be different than any of the other ones. We'll have two little flaps. We'll cut this in half or so. We'll take a little bit off this one. And again, this is where we're going to want the adjustable one. Put this somewhere about where it's going to be in the middle. Somewhere where it's hopefully covered by this hatch. And then hurry and do the same thing on the other side. Same thing with his little top hinge. You know, or something that looks like a hinge. Okay, it doesn't have to, you know, just something that looks like you put some effort into it. That's all. All right, so we got and they're not exactly perfect, right? They're made in some welding shop by a freaking criminal, right? They're gonna be all rusty and shit anyways. Okay, we're gonna leave this window open on this side, right? Now, the roof is gonna have a pair of AKs. Somewhere here. Actually, I have a roof rack of things. And it's pretty plain up there. So let me see if I can find that. I think I have one. Might be one of the new pieces. Yeah, I try to strive to make each vehicle interesting. Kind of like the same thing I was doing with the Sherman tanks. Give them all personality. You know, if you make them all boring, like, just paint them green and be done with them. Nobody's gonna want to play them. Nobody's gonna want to play a game you're not, something you're not interested in. Okay, this roof rack is, yeah, this ain't gonna fly. Well, this one won't, but maybe this one will. Let's see what we got up here. That one has a bunch of stuff on it. That's that big old thing. I don't know how the hell that's tied down. That looks like it might actually go better on back of the foot. Oh, here it is. See what's up here. Oh, there's like Red Cross. Yeah, we're not putting red. We're not here to save anybody. A big old spare wheel up there. That's always an option. This is like a pencil mount for a machine gun. I'm going to save that for something where somebody's popped through there for some personal defense. All right, folks. I'll be right back in just a moment. Okay. I don't don't know that I dislike any of that stuff. I kind of like it. I kind of like that. I'm going to put this stuff back in this bag. I totally would have put this roof rack up here. Roof rack? Yeah, roof rack. But there's like, there's Red Cross stuff on it. Yeah, we don't care about saving anybody's life on this thing. This is total death and destruction. This is total death and destruction. But I do like that. We got any of that paint left? And stay on the ground. Yeah, we do. Okay. I don't think we'll be able to finish this tonight just because of the drying times, and it's getting late. Like, oh, it's not really late. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Yeah, but it's getting there, and I need to start getting ready back to my regular type schedule. Get ready for the work day. Not tomorrow, but we'll be back on at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's Michael. Okay. Hey, Mike. I don't know who you are, but I know many Michaels, or I used to. What's happening, man? What happened? Actually, I don't know that I know anybody who's a Michael that goes by Michael. It's always Mike. And at one point, it was like, that was like the most common name that anybody. Paula and Steve. Not ringing a bell, man. I'm sorry. But I appreciate you coming by, man. Always. Just going to prime this stuff in here. This primer isn't very durable, but it does go in every nook and cranny. Almost like it was if it was something thinned down in enamel. Okay, so there goes that. And we're going to prime these other two things. We're going to need more of that paint. I don't know that I'm going to put this on the pintle. We'll do something with it. We're gonna make this thing. See, right now it doesn't have anything there. It's like, who wants to play this vehicle? It just looks. It doesn't have any excitement to it, right? It's not being sold real well. Let's see if I can cover this stuff up and not create a disaster. I can always use somebody to forgive me for shit. That's for sure. Okay. So let's hopefully not grab that. This should be dry enough, and we're going to prime all this. Now, it's not going to stay black. I plan on color matching this. I'm probably, after this is primed, we'll go ahead and paint this in 10 bits is what it used to be called. It's now called rough iron. So it's almost like a corroded, has a little bit of a corroded metal look to it. So we'll do that, and then we'll overpaint it and not cover everything, so it looks like they did a shoddy job of it. You know, are these the super readers? You know. Let's get all the big stuff, and then we'll come in here with a smaller brush. This is like a brush I'd use to like paint an elephant. And 1-to-1 scale. A couple of years. You've been on this channel? You're probably watching DDA stuff then, because 2 years ago, that's what I was doing. I don't think I was doing tanks 2 years ago. It's pretty close. Well, maybe it was. It was right after the last convention that I played DBA in September. So it would have been September 2024. I think 2022. September 2022 is when, that's the last time I was doing, I don't think I made it to October 2022. I'm like, I'm done with this. Playing this Ancients game is just taking up too much of my time, and I'm not going to be able to do all the other stuff I wanted to do. No World War II stuff, none of this. Yeah, this is the size brush we use. It's got a purple interior, orange windows, and a purple interior. It's like, man, what kind of drugs are you on? Now, after we got this guy done, probably going to do one of the other Impalas. Got 2 more Impalas to do, and the lowrider truck, and the fajita truck, and that F-150, and some other vehicle that I haven't decided which one it's going to be yet, but it's going to be the Butcher, El Carnicero. And for you blood splatter fans, that one's going to have blood splatter all over it. Not absurd, but Mexican Mitch should drive that one, because that's what Mitch does in real life. He cuts up carcasses. He's a cleaner? Not quite. Okay. So now it is all black. It's not going to stay all black, but that's the primer color. All right, for those of you guys, Ronald, I believe, that was saying, hey, I can't wait for you to paint the headlamps. And I can't wait either. Let's go take a look at a Durango. What year is this? 2001. Let's see if the 2001 Durangos look like this. Let's put the other glasses on. This is actually what I'm about to do. One of the things I enjoy the most about doing cars is like they're like real cars. The guy who made these castings already put those things on. It's a matter of putting them on here. So we're going to go 2001 Dodge Durango. Front. Okay, this bumper is color matched to the car. That may or may not be what I do. I may actually paint it silver. So it'll stand out a little bit more. It's silver on a couple other ones. Okay. And then 2001 Dodge Durango rear. Same thing with the back. Okay. So let's go ahead and prime those areas in black. See if we can grab this by somewhere that no, the way this goes on the back here. If I paint that silver, I'm going to do it because it's going to look a lot more interesting than a color match color. So let's just go ahead and paint this. See you for dinner at Christmas. Okay. I don't know who you are, man. Seemed like a nice guy, so I hope so. And let's cut this thing across as well. Let's cover this whole thing. This will probably be chrome-ish. And this area where the tail lights are at, they split them nicely between the two. Top is going to be red and the bottom is going to be, clear. Okay, so this is not how it's going to finish looking like. We got this primed. And now let's do the same treatment to the front. Let's go back and go. I'm going to do all of this in silver. Man, I gotta get something. I gotta get something to drink. Carson Holdren's going great, man. Hey, I'll be right back in just 1 second. Okay. Yeah. I drink a lot. Liquids. I don't drink the other stuff at all. Certainly not while I'm doing something I'm enjoying doing. The other drinking's for like doing things you don't enjoy doing. It's like, oh, I gotta go work. Hold on, let me have a drink first. If only. If only. Let's go to. I'm going to go ahead and cover this bright ass freaking center of this. I said there's all kinds of detail on here. They just decided to not paint it anything different than the same as the body. The same as the body style. Now, it looks like I'm going to leave that the body color, but I'm going to come over here and do the lights. Let's make sure we get the lights in here. And I'm going to paint this grill too. It's just too damn bright. Give it a wash and everything, but I like to start off with black and then work my way up from that. It just covers so much better. And I'll show you guys in a second what we've done so far. What have you done? I'm going to show you. Let's rinse this. All right, so These diamonds that we primed in black. And same thing on the back, tail lamps, all that. Before we put this ram on the front of this, we're going to paint all this stuff in here so that it's easier to get to. Even though it'll cover most of it, the front of this will look kind of like that. Ooh. Oh, wonkish. All right, so on the roof, we've got this tire that's up here. We can go ahead and glue it down. And this does help fill in the space. I should have had regular coffee, not regular coffee. It's not regular coffee. It's not very strong. I'd like to have a coffee supercharge. Yeah, I'm not in a hurry to get this thing done, but if I get this done today, that means tomorrow morning I'll work on something different. That's a win-win for everybody. I'll glue this somewhere up here. And these AKs need to be on something. They just look boring just sitting up there. They just need to be boring just sitting up there. And this is just too cool a piece to not use this for something that has a hole in the roof and somebody's sitting behind it, right? You don't need to protect something that's just the guns. So, with that said, there's a little grate here. That looks better than not having anything on it. I think that's what we'll go with. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to paint this because if I glue this thing on, well, we can glue it on first, then we can paint it. So let's use the fast-acting super glue. Pray for me that I don't screw this up. Let's see. It seems like it's top heavy, but it'll be just fine. And then I will paint this not attached to that. So I don't want there to be like, black and little spots there that you can't reach. Now, I'm going to use a brush that I don't care if I destroy it. That'd probably be a bad choice for that. That looks like it's got some use. A brush that looks like it's already been violated. That's the one thing about these, about doing what I'm doing. It's like, it's turning out so well that I'm like, after I'm done doing one, I can't wait to do another one. That would also explain why in a couple of months I've got like 50 of these things. I've only been building these for a couple of months now. 3 at the most. And while I'm thinking about it, how is this attached there? It's flat on the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and use the one that we can move a little bit. I don't like to paint the individual pieces first and then put them on here. I do like to prime them. I figure I can reach anything I can see. The only issue becomes I don't want some little shadow that's hidden there that can be seen that isn't dark colored. And then this will end up being somewhere up here. Can't push it farther than that because there's a little hump in the roof. Okay. I'm wondering why this is all wobbly. One tire or something is lower than the others, and that should not be. Somebody actually said, hey, you should put these on stands. I'm like, I'm not doing that. They're not going on stands. They are definitely not going on stands. So before we attach this, of course, let's go ahead and prime this, and we'll have this all ready to go. We'll do the lights underneath here before we attach the ram on there. Otherwise, it just makes it really difficult to be able to reach that. Okay, and I think what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to shut this feed off. How long have we been on here? Almost 2 hours. Yeah, so we've got this stuff primed. When we start tomorrow morning on our normal Sunday, we will just roll right into painting this thing. Everything will be nice and dry, and we should just be able to tear this one a new one and get it all done. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.